Namaskar. Good morning, everyone. I am Ravi Gupta. I am editor in chief of Digital Learning Magazine, and I welcome you all to the World Education Summit virtual edition. And this focus is on higher education. And this is the 23rd edition of this World Education Summit, higher education. And I welcome all our inaugural speakers, speakers of the other sessions, and our esteemed delegates who are joining us from all over the country and also from all over the world. Elets has been in existence since last 19 years, and we have been publishing this magazine called Digital Learning since the year 2005. And our endeavor is to bring together the experts in the higher education sector, school education sector, preschool sector, uh, government sector, and NGOs, and bring them together to deliberate about various issues, various challenges and opportunities in the education sector. We also run an important portal called digitallearning.eletsonline.com, which is India's leading portal on ICT in education. Today, we are having a galaxy of speakers, who are renowned people in their domain, who are a part of the inaugural session of this World Education Summit. We have with us Professor Dr. K.K. Agrawal, who is the chairman of National Board of Accreditation, NBA. Namaskar, sir. Welcome. Thank you for
Namaskar, Ravi,
joining us.
namaskar.
Namaskar, sir. And we have with us Dr. M.S. Shamasundar, who is advisor, National Assessment and Accreditation Council, NAAC. Namaskar, Dr. Shamasundar. Thanks for joining us. Thank you. And we have Shri A. Mala Reddy, who is Additional Secretary, Higher Education Department, Government of Telangana. Namaskar, Mala Reddy ji. Thank you for
Morning, sir.
joining. Thank you. So we have this event happening today in the backdrop of the colleges and universities which are opening now. The fear of COVID is receding, and people have again an opportunity to actually teach uh, in the uh, classroom, and students have again an opportunity to experience the classroom itself. So in this backdrop, and a lot of things have happened in the last 2 years. The national education policy has got announced, and implementation work has started to happen. The role of IT in higher education has increased dramatically, and the expectations of the industry from the higher education sector is also evolving very fast. So in this context, let me request each of the our inaugural speakers to give their opening remarks of around 5 minutes, where you touch upon the how you are seeing the impact of the last 2 years of major transition, and how are you seeing the uh, this year or next 2 years of higher education in India in this backdrop of uh, COVID and NEP guidelines uh, being announced. So let me start with Professor K.K. Agrawal for his opening remarks. So over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Ravi, and nice to be here once again. Uh, Friends, the session starts on new paradigms in education, particularly on digital trends and digital leaders or whatever. When you talk about this concept, I think in the initial comments, I will like to restrict myself to a few observations. First is let everyone in the education world understand once for all that digital has taken roots and is here to stay on. COVID will definitely go, but digital will definitely not go. I think this is for sure, and this all of us must appreciate, understand, and work accordingly. Having said that, I would also like to say, while COVID forced us to digital, now it will be our choice how much digital, when not digital, and so on and so forth. So the best word which I found to describe the future in education particularly will be what they called as we will live in phygital world, which is physico digital world. So we will not be as digital as we were for the last 2 years for everything, but we will be using digital quite frequently, quite supportively in the coming years. Second point, which I thought I will tell is, see, when we by and large shifted to digital, we were in a mindset against digital. And COVID forced us to go to digital. Yes, our teaching faculty adopted digital very well, much better than many other parts of the world. Of course, learning deficiency still remains and is a point of concern, but adaptation in India to digital was quite okay. And when I say that, I'm conscious of the statement because we, being from larger towns, may not understand how a village teacher taught drawing to his students, and so on and so forth. So the connection was poor, electric connection was poor, teacher had never felt the smartphone, students had never seen the smartphone. In that context, also, we have done I would say not a very bad job of providing education using digital world, and that's appreciable. But having said that, digital will become complete norm of education. I neither I understand nor I wish nor I hope it will come in. I personally feel digital will give us those avenues which were never there before. For example, earlier, say, talk about electives in a higher education system, the university or the college will definitely feel if there are 10, 15 students, then only I can offer this elective, because if the number of students is less than 10, 15, then it will not make financial sense. Now, that part has been taken care of. In digital technology use, whether the class size is 5,000 or 5, the cost is practically the same. So therefore, now we can have a class size as large as possible. Of course, I'm talking of only delivery of the content, not the interactions and all that. And the class size as small as possible. Both are feasible. Therefore, number one, we can use the best teachers in the world, and number two, we can serve the interest of students to his or her curiosity the best without so much consideration of the cost element. That's a very great factor. Number three, we were very much constrained in higher education that if you're doing this course, it's supposed to be there 9 to 5, therefore you can't do anything else, and so on and so forth. Now, using digital technologies having been accepted, we can certainly allow the students to what we call as design their own degrees to a reasonably good extent. Well, again, I put a word of caution. When I say design their own degrees, that does not mean any A plus B plus L plus this will be a degree. We will have to guide them to the degree, but nonetheless, several permutations, combinations are now feasible, advisable, and the curiosity of the student can be taken care of much better. As a matter of fact, I many a times feel when we had the Gurukul system of education, it was very personalized. The teacher and the student would decide what the student would be best at, and that will be the curriculum. When we had to go to massification of education because the system demanded large numbers to be taken care of by fewer teachers, so massification of education came in. And when massification of education came in, we brought in all other evils along with this, that class size will be very big, you can't ask questions, and so on and so forth. It went on. I believe today is the time when we can have better of the both worlds, and I definitely say technology assisted Gurukulization of education is now possible because between every student and every teacher, there could be a flow chart which could be facilitated by digital technology. So that is a very strong element which we should keep in mind. Third thing which I thought I would say is digital will help us. Content delivery is one, of course. I must caution here, we have to do a lot of research in education technologies per se for digital delivery. At the moment when we were forced to be digital on day one, we probably meant digital only means the teacher doesn't stand before the podium, he sits before the computer and talks, and student only means he logs in and attends. That is not really digital delivery. We will have to design digital delivery in its proper way, and now is the time for us to do that in a peacetime. So many things which cannot be done in a wartime. COVID was a wartime situation for us, but now in a peacetime situation we must design digital content suiting particular students, looking to their mental reactions. I know of universities abroad, they have done so much investment in designing proper digital content delivery designs. We have now done that to that extent. I think that's a challenge for us in education to take it towards digitalization, because I always believe whenever a technology is pushed, it doesn't deliver that much. It Technology has to pull you towards it. Technology has to be that much incentivized. It has to become that much attractive that you are pulled towards that technology, and that is what we need in initialization. And finally, friends, I feel in higher education or in any education, uh, tracing is very important. We want to keep what the student learned first year, what did he learn in second year, and so on and so forth. And now we have digital technologies which can keep very fine trace of the progress of the student, progress of the institution. For example, blockchain technology. Blockchain technology can be a very good data tracker of our examination system. Blockchain technology can be a very good data tracker of our accreditation system, where I want to know where the institution was 5 years before and where it is now. That tracing can be much better using these technologies. So digital technology not only for content delivery but also for other assisted jobs will be a good thing to begin with. So assessment of institutions, assessment of students could also be done much better using digital technology. And in conclusion of the initial remarks, I would say I believe very strongly that digital will be a very good, extremely good value addition. I am not very sure whether it will be a or it should be a complete substitution. I have my reservations on that. I believe may not be a complete substitution, but very good supplementary and complementary method of addition should be respected, should be adopted, and quality ensured. We can make a good job of it. I think I close my initial comments here. Then we'll see when any questions are. Thank you, Ravi.
Thanks, sir. I think you have touched upon very important points, and especially I loved that point of peacetime and wartime. So I in like if we look back, I think the last 2 years were like we're dealing with a war-like situation in in the education ecosystem, and I think each higher education institution or each student or each teacher was actually in the middle of a war where major changes were happening in a very fast-paced uh, manner. Perhaps we are landing in a peacetime situations, and some of the things where deeper thinking is involved can be really done now. So let me move to our next important speaker, who is Dr. M.S. Shamsundar, who is advisor of the National Assessment and Accreditation Council, NAAC. And your views on how are you seeing this higher education landscape changing in the next 2 years? Over to you.
Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, on behalf of National Assessment and Accreditation Council, on behalf of all my colleagues from NAC and my personal behalf, I would like to welcome each one of you for this very important World Summit. And the theme is also very nice. That is innovation in education. I think Dr. Ravi Gupta might have identified this theme very well. That is innovation in education. In my opinion, the one of the innovations in education may be digital transformation itself. Professor Agrawal has showcased the digital transformation, its imperativeness, all those things very well. But nevertheless, I will also compliment and supplement Professor Agrawal. Now, since I told you one of the innovations in education may be digital transformation, and it is very much inevitable also because now in the light of COVID-19, now we were compelled to go for digital transformation in that, because in every system there are merits and demerits. I find there are merits with COVID-19 also. There are so many demerits, but nonetheless there are merits also, because this digital transformation came into picture because of the compulsions laid down by this COVID-19 pandemic situation. Because during this pandemic situation, 1.2 billion students across the globe are out of classroom. As rightly pointed Professor Agrawal, even though they are out of classroom, now classroom size itself has been enlarged. I think that might be the merit of COVID-19. Forget the health disbenefits of COVID-19, but there are benefits of this. Because of this only, we have gone for so much digitalization. Because of that, I think we have gone for flipped classrooms. Even MOOCs also is gaining a lot of importance, and even big data and blockchain, that mechanism is also gaining a lot of importance. I think I really appreciate Professor Agrawal. Even we can adopt this blockchain mechanism in assessment accreditation also, because now 2 days ago I went to our sub register office in Bangalore to register a plot in my name. Then I have observed about more than hundreds of people. They were sitting simply, and also those staff in the sub register office also, they were also sitting idly. Do you know what's the reason? The server was down. Why? Because they have not shifted to this big data and blockchain mechanism. Because especially our Karnataka government, if they had gone for this big data and blockchain, definitely the server would have been upgraded and it would have become more faster. And same thing is true in education system, and the very similar thing is true in quality assessment and accreditation also. That's why we have to inculcate digital culture among all the leaders in the higher education ecosystem, because everything is in cloud now, because we are talking about data warehouses, data lakes, and whatever we do, everything is in clouds. That's why cloud led data and artificial intelligence offer a huge canvas for India to be the technology engine of the world, which creates jobs and innovations in new dimensions. Because now, especially the software architect or even web designers, this type of new jobs are coming up. Because earlier only doctors, engineers, lawyers, these were the regular designations. But now we can find very many designations in digital world. That's why now, overall market for online education is projected to reach $350 billion by 2025, because that is the power of digital transformation. See, now language applications are coming up, virtual tutoring is coming up, then video conferencing tools, online learning softwares. Even if you want to learn some yoga, definitely we can go for online classes. Even in day-to-day affairs also, digital transformation has become very much inevitable. That's why global server infrastructure also should be increased in all the higher education institutions. With this, even in NAC also, we have taken very many digital initiatives also. See, in the history of NAC, hitherto, we have not conducted not even a single seminar in the history of NAC. But during the pandemic situation, during the past 2 years, do you know how many webinars we have conducted? More than 2,000 webinars have been conducted. The two state-wise, region-wise, theme-wise webinars have been conducted, and even the power of digital transformation. This particular World Summit itself is an example. Maybe because of the digital transformation power, I think all dignitaries are coming online. See, anyway, Dr. Ravi Gupta also might be very much benefited with the help of this webinar. See, because he need not spend anything on us, any of the resource persons. He need not pay airfare. He need not take care of accommodation. Even he need not give a cup of coffee also. See, now I think we can go for our own cup of coffee in that way. That is the power of digital transformation. All of us would be very, very, very much benefited. And see, now we can save on time, because see, now I have come to my office. I'm concentrating on my regular routine activities. Maybe I might be focusing more, maybe for next 30 minutes, totally 1 hour inaugural session. That's it. Then thereafter I can focus on my regular work. And same thing is true for Professor Mallareddy and Professor Agarwal. I think that is the power of this digital transformation. And I was telling about some of the digital innovative initiatives which had been taken by NAC. Another digital innovative initiative is feedback from stakeholders. And we are talking to different higher education institutions in the country, and we are collecting their feedback and reaching the unreachable, that is far-flung regions, especially northeastern region, Jammu Kashmir or Uttar Pradesh, because that is one of the underprivileged states, even though it's the larger states in the country. And also we can go for hand holding of higher education institutions, that too in a digital mode, because in NAC we are also saving a lot of money. See, now we have conducted very many international conferences. Earlier, for conducting one international conference, we were spending more than 50 lakhs. Now, even it might be, I think we might be spending only 50 rupees, not 50 lakhs, because only we have to spend on internet. That's it. And our resource persons are free. We need not take care of their accommodation and airfare. That is the advantage for NAC also. And apart from that, even all the education community should be empowered with digital, socio-digital transformation. And in NAC also, we have introduced NAC YouTube, NAC Facebook, NAC Twitter, everything. And also we have transformed our website like anything. If you open our NAC website, it is available in 11 different languages. In that way, all the stakeholders in the country would be benefited. And we have introduced video tutorials. Again, that is also power of the digital transformation. In the video tutorials, any of the higher education institutions, I mean, any of the stakeholders in these higher education institutions can learn about assessment and accreditation. They can participate in assessment accreditation. And also we have introduced very many softwares which can enable or empower different stakeholders, like differently abled stakeholders. I mean, they also can learn assessment accreditation. And visually challenged, for them also we have introduced another software. And dumb and deaf, we have introduced the sign language. Even that is also available in the NAC website. Another very important thing we have introduced is chatbot. Chatbot, this is the artificial intelligence we have introduced in the NAC website. You can ask any question, any general question through the NAC website, through the portal, that our artificial intelligence would answer instantaneously, that to 24/7. Then thereafter, you can, if it is not cleared, then you can contact our help desk. And at the same time, we have introduced another mechanism called IMS, that is Issue Management System. And within 24 hours, whatever the question you ask, whatever the query you have, for the two, irrespective of the institutions in different parts of the country, you can ask any question through the portal and you will get the answer. That too, especially for the government institutions, it is quite unlikely. That too, 24 hours, you don't get the answer at all. If you write to any of the government institutions, getting answer in 24 hours is a major challenge. But NAC, this is the USP, unique selling proposition of NAC is you will get the answer in 24 hours. Still, if you are not happy, send another inquiry in IMS, Issue Management System. I think that is the beauty of NAC. And apart from this, I think Dr. Ravi Gupta asked me to tell few words about NEP also. Because the digital transformation is very much inevitable for implementing national education policy very effectively. Because without digital transformation, it takes ages. Because even in 1986 also, new education policy came up, but implementation took a lot of time. But now the present new education policy 2020, it may not take such a long time, because implementation would be more faster, more easier because of the digital transformation. But for this, we should go for a concerted effort from all the stakeholders in the country. If we do not go for concerted efforts, it will be a difficult task. And one of the USPs of this national education policy is academic bank of credit. I think this is the here the students are going to become kings because they have a major say and also major responsibility also. Because in academic bank of credit, every student in the country would be opening an academic bank account, and this bank is called National Academic Depository, because this is just like a SB account. Here only you can deposit, you cannot withdraw. Because in the regular SB account you can withdraw and we can deposit. Here you can deposit your credits. That's why credit recognition, credit accumulation, credit transfer, and credit redemption from different higher education institutions is possible. And even for the employers also, cross-checking the certificates, diplomas, degrees, mark sheets of different students across the country would be much easier. And that too, of course, that too, with the consent of the students concerned, because the students would be getting their SMS or email message. If they agree, then only the employers can cross-check. In this way, there is a long way to go in digital transformation. There are very many best practices of this digital transformation. Maybe because of the paucity of the time, I may not be able to cover so many other items, but nonetheless, we have to reimagine this education ecosystem in a different way, and we have to go for capacity building of different leaders across all the higher education institutions in the country. In this way, definitely we can build our higher education system, and we can make higher education system more stronger. Then our ecosystem also would be made much better. In this way we can go ahead. And also, since I heard that so many higher education institutions in the country are participating in this world summit, I wish this particular world education summit would be of great use to all of you. Definitely there would be different resource persons. I request all of you to take the advantage of the expertise of different resource persons. And also I wish all our higher education institutions all the very best to reach the pinnacle on the plateau of higher education. Thank you very much. Thanks for your attention. Over to Dr. Umar.
Thank you, Dr. Sham Sundar. I think your speech is very inspiring and good to see that NAC is taking several steps in the path of digital adoption. And I love this idea about if you are resolving the queries within like 24 hours. This is a unheard, I think, in the government system. So hats off to you for taking this initiative. So let me move to our next speaker, Mr. Mala Reddy, who is the Additional Secretary, Higher Education Department, Government of Telangana. And if you can highlight some of the steps which your state is taking in the higher education reforms and digital adoption, it will be very nice. Mala Reddy ji, over to you. Please unmute, Mala Reddy. You're on mute, sir. Excuse Reddy. You're on mute.
Audible?
Yes.
Sir. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for giving an opportunity for participating in the event. First of all, I congratulate Mr. Gupta for being instrumental in organizing this type of event and bringing luminaries in education field in one platform, facilitating sharing of knowledge. I believe this summit certainly act as change agent and boost the process of updating the information and enrich the knowledge. Already Mr. Professor Agarwal and Dr. Sham Sundar spoke, focus much light on this digital learning. I want to say a few words about reorientation or reimagining of the education ecosystem. As already mentioned in the NEP 2020 document, I want to read a few lines. The aim of education will not only be cognitive development, but also building character and creating holistic and well-rounded individuals equipped with key 21st century skills. I want to focus or emphasize on the word key 21st century skills. Here, in this century, in science and technology, we witness a vast changes. Information revolution, a global phenomena, and without digital knowledge, without uh, uh, no knowledge is complete without digital knowledge. Data is a key word now, and data stored in cloud is going to play a vital role in day-to-day life. We need to reorient our education system on this aspect, I believe. One thing I want to say, am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes, yes. You are very much
Ah,
audible.
thank you. It is true. The knowledge is deep-seated treasure, and education helps in its manifestation as the perfection which is already within the individual. All aspects of curriculum and pedagogy will be reoriented and revamped to attain this. I believe to attain the object of fair and equitable social structure, we need to reduce the economical, social, and cultural disparity among the citizens. This will happen only with the quality, affordable, and uniform education. Already earlier dignitaries focus much late on digital learning, but unfortunately, digital learning is confined to some sections of people in urban area because of lack of net, lack of infrastructure or gadgets. Rural majority of the rural student community may not avail this opportunity. We in print and electronic media also so much focus was on this aspect. There is a gap is widening between this thing. We have to focus on the on this aspect. Due to prevalence of pandemic situation, we were enlightened. Already our earlier speakers focus light. We have to revamp the pedagogy to suit the future needs. We need to switch from a conventional classroom learning to remote learning to the possible event. Or this period of this pandemic will continue, or this may in some other form, or some other variants come in future, or we may need to reorient purely on remote learning. This has to be focused. Further, there are some negative aspects also. Too much focusing on digital and depending on digital thing. I want to say a few words. Uh, we want to some social media platforms are generally are entertainment tools. We have to convert them or reform or reorient on the all round for the tools of all round development. Government said some sanctions has to be uh, taken on this part. Why? Because I am seeing this type of enlightenment, so much important lectures, symposiums are in YouTube or thing. Views are very few, very single number views. Or entertainment channels are gaining more views, and that's we have to change that. And from government side, how can we reorient or how can we reform this? We have to think it in this aspect also. Why, the time may come in which machines may replace manpower in number of fields by depending on digital technology. This is the negative aspect. Conventional white collar jobs may sink in numbers and may not be in a position to engage available manpower. Data banks may be source and solution for much number of administrative procedures, and data analysis will be key factor, and machine may be engaged for the same. Artificial intelligence will go to be toolkit for many solutions. In next NEP, a discussion may be happened, and we have to create a new department to manage the manpower or surplus manpower that may coming. This is the negative aspect of digital or everything of digital solutions. one thing I want to focus on: rate of change is high in this in arena in this years. To cope up with the change, we need to adapt to learn skills. Learning may not be restricted to certain period. It may be going to be continuous process. If it will be the continuous process. The process should be soft, smooth, and enthusiastic in nature. It should not be burden on student, and student community should not feel the learning or exams etc. burden on them. Already in NEP 2020, we have already incorporated every student coming from school should be master in one field. At least he can be engaged in one aspect. We need to focus on one, reducing disparities between high-rated higher education institutions and low-rated higher education institutions, because to secure the admissions in Indian Institute of Technologies, there is a ratio of competition is 1:100. In every 100 pupils, one will get admission. More affordable education to all need to be this will discourage the brain drain. Recently, when we are war situation, more than 20,000 students returned. Their future is questionable. More are some medical medicine students. I think more than 20,000 students returned back from war zone. So this type of situations should be curtailed by focusing on prevalence of affordable education to student community. That increase in investment is 6% or more is very advisable, because increase in investment in education will certainly result in quality manpower and result in a reduction in investment in health sector or welfare schemes, etc. So more 6% more investment on education will bring fruits in other fields also. So altogether, I want to sum up is, its day has come. We have to reorient, reimagine our education system, and we have to adapt the new technologies, new skills which are precipitated in the recent years, and we have to go with the world. We have to become knowledge hub. India, to make India a knowledge hub, and world leaders, digital leaders. Digital is a inevitable and it's a must adaptable thing. As already our learned speakers told, we are we are enjoying we are here enjoying using the digital technology itself. So this I want to say, and thank you for giving me an opportunity, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mamala Reddy ji, and you highlighted some of the very important issues. The disparity between high quality institution and lower quality institution is increasing dramatically. You have highlighted something about rate of change which is happening globally. It's very fast, and how do the institutions cope up with it? And you talked about unemployability, which might be happening, and you said that next NAP has to talk about it. So very important questions have been raised, and let me request none other than Professor Agrawal to actually give your views upon the questions raised by Reddy Saab, and your other views on the overall higher education reforms. Over to you, sir. Please unmute, sir.
Sir, could you please repeat the question?
Yes, sir. I think Mr. Bala Reddy ji highlighted two, three very important points. One is that the rate of change which is happening globally in terms of technology is very fast. So artificial intelligence is coming in, blockchain is coming in, so, several other technologies are coming in. So how do higher education institutions cope up with the rate of change? Number one.
Uh,
Number two, he has highlighted about unemployability because of the technology. So, lot of people will get unemployed because of the technology being happening. So, how
yeah,
do higher
I,
education institutions
I,
upskill?
I get
So,
it. I
yeah,
get it. I
yeah,
get it, Dr. Ravi. Thank you, Ravi, for posing the question, and thank you, Dr. Malareddy, for raising this concern. I think this concern will be obviously appreciated all the time in this country because we cannot afford unemployment. There's no doubt about it. But whenever technology evolution has taken place, we have found and proved for ourselves in this country and the whole world that the technology has only redesigned the jobs, has only reskilled the jobs, has not reduced the jobs by and large. Say, for example, banking sector is one which I'll remind Dr. Malareddy because from Telangana, I think that time joint Andhra Pradesh was the first state to implement automation in banking sector, and we saw several strikes in whole country that automation will reduce the employees, will not need the employees. Now after 30, 40 years, we definitely find that was wrong. What technology has done is not reduce the employees, has made the employees required to be higher skilled. So you may be right to that extent that some lower skilled jobs may shift to higher skilled jobs. So therefore, technology will at the same time have to think how to reskill people, how to reskill lower level people to higher skill jobs, which fortunately technology itself can do. Technologies itself can be used for training and retrain people. In a survey which was published, I think by an article, maybe I think Dr. Ravi Gupta himself published an article where people refuse to be reskilled and they curse being thrown out of the job. Now you can't do that. That don't throw us out of the job. We have a right to continue with the job, but we refuse to reskill ourselves. So that tendency will have to be given away with. We will have to reskill the people and create the jobs appropriately. Only thing we will do is we will move from lower end to the higher end of the skilling of the jobs, which is good for the country. Second thing which I would like to say is many a times we believe that the latest technology is elitist. Latest technology is costly, which is not a fact. uh, being a student of the computer science, I would again say, let's admit very frankly, the computers are being used by so-called illiterate and lower income group almost as effectively or more effectively at times than we are doing. I mean, I many a times feel that my rickshawala, my driver, my sabji wala, my doodh wala use computer, these phones more usefully than we do it because the technology is a leveler. And I remember a very nice article which said there are only two levelers in this world, which are both are ITs. One is income tax and second is information technology. So they bring everybody on the same platform that everybody has to be affected by that, come what may. So whether you talk about artificial intelligence today, it might have been invented at a great cost, but its utility is with doctors, its utility is with the banks, its utility is with the agriculture, its utility is with dairy technology. So once we are able to do that, then you will find that the technology's evolution might be costly, but technology's utilization is not costly. And whether we talk about blockchain, whether we talk about 3D printing, for example, just 10 years ago, and the cost today is not even 10%. The cost reduction is 10%. And today in China, several multi-storied buildings are 3D printed, and they say by 2030 half of the total buildings in China will be 3D printed. Now if that be so, and we have to beat them. I was reading an article last week some IIT Kharagpur students have designed a 2000 square feet house in a rural area at a total cost of 5.5 lakhs. Now imagine if we could give a nice 2000 square foot of dwelling unit in a rural setting at a cost of 5.5 lakhs, how much service we will be doing to the rural areas. And we may be even instrumental in reversing the migration if we are able to give the reasonable facilities. And I don't think in the cities somebody can think of 2000 square feet in 5 lakhs. And using technologies, it's possible to do that. That has been demonstrated on ground. So let's not feel that the technology which is developed at millions of dollars is really that costly. I'll again quote a study when the project of cell phone, not the smartphone, the first cell phone was given to AT&T. They worked out the R&D costs, and they worked out the cost of the phone. And at that time, many of my senior friends will recall the cost of the phone. Small cost of the most simple phone used to be something like 15,000 to 20,000 rupees, and we used to pay 8 rupees per minute of call time and 4 rupees per minute of receiving call time. Now imagine the cost, and today in 500 rupees, you can do whatever you wish to do with your smartphone on data, on calls, or whatever. So the costs will take care of the penetration. What we have to do is give proper orientation to the technology. And so what I was trying to say is at that time the research study said that if we can sell so many thousand phones in 1 month in the whole world, we will be able to beat R&D costs. And today we are selling that number in Delhi alone, not in 1 year, but in 1 day. That's the kind of massification which comes in. So latest technology with proper awareness, with proper cost projections will help us. And all what is required is proper orientation, proper awareness, proper lessons to the public, which understand this. And then we can beat this concern which has been very rightly raised by a senior officer of the government, because we all feel that, but we also feel the solution of technology problems, fortunately, is resting with the technology itself. Thank you.
Um, Thank you, Professor Agrawal. I think you have very n- nicely addressed this issue, and which is a very, very challenging issue, not only in India but across the globe. Let me request our next speaker, Dr. M.S. Shamsundar, to specifically talk about ranking of the Indian higher education institutions. We are, if you look at the global rankings, we are not at a very uh, great stage. Our Indian universities are still in the lower the parts, although that things are improving. So, as your organization, your institution is looking at accreditation, and you are looking at the quality. So, how are you thinking in that long term of increasing the ranking of Indian institutions? Over to you.
Actually, it's a very good, challenging question, sir. There is a significant difference between ranking and accreditation, and across the globe, sometimes we may use just like a synonyms. Sometimes accreditation, ranking, I can close it. Accreditation, ranking, sometimes assessment, auditing, all these things in a synonymous way we might be using, but it may not be correct because, for example, grading, NAC is doing only grading, NAC is not doing ranking at all. We do only accreditation, that to grading, that to A plus plus, A plus, A grade, B plus, B double plus, like that different shades of grades would be there. This at a particular level, different higher education institutions may fall. This is grading, but ranking it's just like one, two, three. Maybe very few institutions in the country might have participated in the ranking system, not many institutions. Even NIRF is also doing ranking, but not many institutions are not participating in that. That is a sad thing. Even though accreditation is mandatory in the country, as of now, around 14,000 plus accreditation visits, I mean peer team visits have happened, even though it's mandatory. Because in the beginning, when NAC got established, at that time it was voluntary, but now government of India made it mandatory. But still, in a democratic country like India, all of us are free citizens, independent citizens. All of us are autonomous, and very difficult to convince our higher education institutions. Now, that's why now we have come out with a different formula. Now it is called PAC, that is provisional accreditation for colleges. That is called pack. It's not six pack, it is just like pack. Anyway, now we are going to introduce this pack and POW. Then POW means provisional accreditation for universities, not POW Baji, it's POW. When we introduce this one, we want to cater to the needs of as many higher education institutions as possible. Maybe in PAC, that is provisional accreditation for colleges, we are going to reduce number of metrics, number of questions. We have already simplified. Maybe instead of asking hundreds of questions, here we might be asking only 10 qualitative questions, 10 quantitative questions. In that way, everybody can participate. Actually, your question is very good. In what way we can contribute? Maybe each one of us might be having this type of questions. Maybe it may take another 3 4 minutes to elaborate on this. Because last time when I interacted with some of the stakeholders, like assistant professors, then the assistant professor said, I am only assistant professor, I am only a clerk, I am only a simple staff. In what way I can contribute in quality assurance? What is my role? Only my principal should do, my vice chancellor should do quality assurance. I don't have any role to be played. Then I gave a different analogy to those people. Do you know what was the analogy I gave? I gave the example of renewable energy, because now renewable energy is very, that is the order of the day, because for the last 20 years India has been emerged as IT superpower. For the next 20 years India is going to emerge as green energy superpower. Do you know what would be the total export we can make? $500 billion we can export green energy to different countries. That is the potential with which we have. For that, all of us can contribute, because see, now India is the third largest oil importer. This is a very sad thing, because unnecessarily, very heavily we are depending on coal and this imported oil for our power requirements. This is a very bad thing, because other countries are not depending on coal and imported oil so much, because this is the third largest importer. And also, we should follow, India should follow low carbon and no carbon strategy, because now we are producing just 105 gigawatts of renewable energy, I mean solar energy. And by 2030, we are planning to produce 450 gigawatts of power. And coming to this point, in what way these assistant professors or clinical staff can contribute? Now, I will give the example of one regular ordinary college, which consists of maybe say around 3,000 students. Out of 3,000 students, you can motivate those students to go for this solar energy. Maybe I think the solar rooftop. See, now for 1 kilowatt, it may cost maybe around 40,000 rupees, 40 to 45,000 rupees. And for the domestic purpose, any of the state governments would be giving maximum of 10 kilowatts. Even if they go for 10 kilowatts, it would be somewhere around 4 to 4 5 lakhs. Maybe I think all the students in the college may not be able to afford. Students in the sense their parents. Maybe one third of the students, if they can go for this one, if they can convince their parents, one third means out of 3,000 students, 1,000 students. Then maybe say around 200 faculty members might be there, because now professors also might be getting a very handsome salary of around 3 lakhs. Out of 3 lakhs, at least if they can spare 1 month salary, definitely they can put 10 kilowatts. To that extent, in an institution, if put together students, non-teaching staff and staff, it will be around 1,200 families can go for the solar rooftop. And how many institutions are there in the country? Right now, we have 55,000 higher education institutions in the country. 55,000 into just say 1,000. Okay, leave the 200 also. Just 1,000. What would be the multiplication? It is 5 crore 50 lakhs. That means 5 crore 50 lakhs people can go for the solar rooftop. And how much renewable energy, I mean green energy we can manufacture, and that can be exported, and the potential is $500 billion. It's a huge industry. To this extent, we can strengthen our beloved Prime Minister with respect to this renewable energy. In that way, each one of us, whether is assistant professor or associate professor, definitely we can motivate our own students, because especially mentor-mentee programs are there available in every institution. Definitely, we can motivate our students. In my personal opinion, motivation can move mountains. See, and also at the same time, wherever we are not using power, definitely at least we can ask them to switch off the lights. We can put off the lights. If you go to washroom, see, even if you come to NAC, there might be 30, 40 lights. Definitely, we are not doing any research in the washroom. At that time, at least we can put off. That itself is a great contribution. That means each one of us can contribute significantly. See, you only take the example of NAC. We have gone for 225 kilowatts of solar power. That means now whatever the energy we are using, we are self-reliant in power now. NAC is not using outside power at all. We are totally self-reliant, and we were getting the bill of 3 lakhs. I took little bit initiative, and I convinced our director, and director had accepted my suggestion. Now we are saving 3 lakhs per month bill, electricity bill. That means 36 lakhs per year, and we have signed the contract with the electrical company for next 25 years. That means 7.5 crores can be saved to NAC. Not only it's a question of monetary benefit. That means we are reducing the carbon dioxide emission, because especially in India we are depending on the coal. And for to get this type of power, at least we should have planted minimum of 200 trees to absorb this much carbon dioxide. Even if you go to the household, they have to plant minimum of 20 kilowatts, only 1 minute, sir. 20 trees. That means each one of us can contribute in the institution, and also this will be going to the electrical company the digital way. This is also digital transformation. To that extent, everybody in every institution can contribute, sir.
Excellent inputs, Shyam Sundar, and we are actually on the almost at the end of this session. We have just 4 minutes left, so I will request Mr. Mala Reddy to give his closing remarks in next 2 minutes, and so we will then close the session. Mala Reddy ji, over to you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. First of all, in MEP we have project wider goals. So 2 crore students who are out of the school to bring back, and at least to double the enrollment ratio in next 15 years, and in higher education institutions and school education institutions, almost 100% in next 10 years. Without making the background to this, without how many new teachers are required, how many number of infrastructures are required, without focusing on this aspect in the first, how can we achieve the goals we set? My enlightened speakers may answer me in 1 minute, please. This the thing.
Great. I think.
Over to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Malala Reddy ji. Thank you, Dr. Shyam Sundar, and thank you, Dr. Agrawal, for amazing discussions, amazing inputs, and diverse experiences. You have really enriched this session. It was an honor for me to moderate this session, and we will be presenting a token of gratitude as a virtual certificate on the screen. So requesting for the certificates, please, on the screen. Respected Professor Dr. K.K. Agrawal, thank you for joining us here, who is the Chairman of National Board of Accreditation. Thank you so much for joining us. Namaskar. Dr. M.S. Shyam Sundar, Advisor, National Assessment and Accreditation Council, NAC. Thank you so much for enriching remarks to me. And thank you, Mala Reddy ji, who is the Additional Secretary, Higher Education Department, Government of Telangana, for joining us. And with this, we will close the session. Again, thank you and namaskar to each of you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ravi. Thank you so much for a nice session, and Hope your whole conference goes very well.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.